On today's episode of The Real, I break down why the Browns may have a big situation going on at left tackle right now, and how concerned should Browns fans be going into the season. I break it down and more next. Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labin. I am Joseph Labin. Hope you guys are having a great week. Yeah, I'm excited. It's game week. High school football is back this week in Ohio. The Hope and Knights are back in action this week. That's a team I'll be watching the most this year because my sister goes to school there. But looking forward to that. Great team this year, stacked as always. I mean, they're always pretty loaded, talented. But this year's team, though, I don't know if I've ever seen a team as deep and as talented and as balanced as this team in the probably probably since 2015. So almost 9 years I've been watching them. I've been around the program and stuff, and then just kept an eye on it from afar, and then now seeing what's going on, knowing some guys on the team now. But yeah, I mean, looking forward to it. Gonna be a great year, loaded as always. Shout out to my man Juice Boykins, Thailand from Summit Christian alum. Salute to you, brother. Looking forward to watching you this year and ball out again this year. All the guys, really, all great kids, great guys on the team, and Coach T's gonna do a great job watching and coaching them and getting them prepared to make another run at the state championship. But looking forward to that, and always wherever you're from, rep your school, and wherever you community you're from, or whatever school you rep, or whatever high school football here in Ohio is very big, so it's Friday nights are a big deal around here. Everybody has their team in school they root for, and it's always a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Because it's already here too. Like, man, it's already football season, really. Like, it's just how fast the summer flew by, how fast the off season flew by. It really has. Time's really just flown by. So it's been something else. But like I said, if you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that. It's the best way you can support my channel and help your boy out. Hit the like button for me on the way in here, everybody, and leave a comment below in today's video. Love your interaction. And I'll be, this is live, so anybody watching, go ahead and leave some comments on some of the topics today. But the big one going on right now in Cleveland, which we're going to get into today, is the left tackle situation going on with the Cleveland Browns right now. And so that's what I'm going to get into the most today. I don't want to make this too long today, so let's get into it. So the Browns the other night had their second preseason game against the Minnesota Vikings, where they lost. I think it was 27-12. Let me pull that up here on my phone. I got the stats and everything. So, yeah, they lost 27-12. They also lost the week before, 23-10. So I get it. You're not playing your first, second stringers mainly. A lot of those guys have been sitting out. But I think when I look at the first two preseason games, I'll start there. I'm not the performances haven't been great at all. I'm actually been a little down, a little I don't know. I just didn't walk away from those games feeling too good as a Browns fan. I'm not overreacting just because you say there's something with certain Browns fans where if you say, you just didn't like performance of the team because in the preseason or anything, you have certain fans that are like, well, guys are sitting out. You're just overblown, or you're just, being a hater. But it's like, no, I'm like, I played football myself. Like, preseason and practice matters. Like, we might think it doesn't matter. I'm not saying the games mean anything. They don't. But as a team and as a whole, training camp practice. They had the joint practice last week with the Vikings, and just in these games, how you want to see guys perform, or guys getting up and playing. Um, just basic stuff. Energy and discipline. With penalties and just execution and operation and stuff like that. And obviously coming away healthy, which did not happen on Saturday, but which is why we have a left tackle situation now. But I think my takeaway from the games is I thought defensively they played good, okay at times. I thought there were some blown assignments in the back end in both games, which gave us some big plays and some of those bigger scores, or some of the touchdowns, rather, the drives that they gave up. But I think, defensively, I think D line's very loaded. I think, Michael Hall, I know he's got the situation going on off the field. We'll see where that goes, and that's a whole other thing. But he did play Saturday, which, by his play, he played pretty well, which he's kind of the Mike Hall I expected. I've watched Mike Hall since he was at Streetsboro High School back in, I think it was 2018, 2019. And so, he's always been elite. He was elite at college. Was a great pass rusher. He's got some great moves. Really can penetrate from the inside at the 3 tech, and has a really good quick first step for a 3 tech and guy his size. Rushing the passer. I think he's looked pretty good. I think Isaiah McGuire's had some really good games. I think some guys have shown some things in flashes. I think Miles Harden, the cornerback on defense, has had a really good training camp. But just another corner, Andrew Berry took late rounds. I think this corner room is really loaded. I mean, you got Miles Harden. You also have the guy they took from they picked up, who was cut from the Chiefs last year, who they picked up, who I think has actually played pretty well as well. I can't remember his name. Let's see if I can find it here. But they're pretty loaded at corner. Trying to find, what's that guy's name? The dude, he was on the Chiefs. Oh yeah, I don't know how to say it. It's Halassi, I think his name is Khalil Halassi or something like that. I'm looking at it right here. But anyways, he's been playing pretty well as well. I like him. So they got a lot of depth at corner. The D line has a lot of depth. I think linebacker. I think Devin Bush has really played really well, and I think Devin Bush can be an underrated signing that they executed this offseason. I think he could be really good for them in the scheme, especially with JOK in the middle, or where middle outside. You can put JOK anywhere; he'll be effective. So, I like where we are defensively overall. I'm not too concerned up defensively. I think a lot of reasons why they're giving up the scores. I think offensively, that's where the concerns have been. Where a lot of people, really circled in these after these games, where their concern is the offense, and a lot of that starts with the left tackle situation. And the left tackle situation right now, Jedrick Wills, coming off that injury, he had this. I believe he had a surgery, had whatever he had done, procedure done months ago. Here we are now. We keep getting told that, he's getting closer. But the Browns, that's what they're putting out. But when you go to practice, you look at some of the Browns beat reporters at practice watching, and just looking at the clips, he's just nowhere to be found. He's not on the sideline doing anything. He hasn't been on the field at all. He hasn't done anything. And we're 2 weeks away from Dallas with Micah Parsons coming to town. Less than 2 weeks now, I believe, or some. We're pretty close. And so that's I'm very concerned about this left tackle situation. I'm actually probably more concerned, maybe some fans are, although I think most people I've heard today in the media and just a lot of fans, everybody's pretty concerned about it, because it is a concern. Because even if Jed Wills is ready by week 1, he's not going to be ready for the game, in my opinion. He can't be. As little as action as he's gotten in the offseason in practice, you got to remember they have a new scheme, a new play calling, new scheme and a new offensive, philosophy in play, not play calling. Kevin's still calling the plays, but you guys know what I mean. They have a new offense being installed, and Jed he hasn't taken any reps. To my knowledge, he's taken 0 reps in practice so far this offseason in the new offense and the new scheme. And he's not going to be in game shape either. You get in game shape by, obviously working out off the field in the weight room and stuff, but also playing and training camp. That's why you go 2-a-days. That's why you go out there, bust your ass, because you're trying to get in game shape. You need those game reps, not just physically, but mentally as well. And, we're going to throw Jed out there week 1, and his first week 1 game back is against Micah Parsons with Deshaun Watson, the guy you paid $220-something million to, whatever it was, coming off of that injury he had. And we're going to throw that out there and hope for the best. in the new scheme and new everything, because you're going to have, I would say, the first half of that game, and as little as these guys have played in the preseason, all the first teamers, you're probably going to have some rust, or I don't say some rust, but you're probably going to have some ups and downs. I expect in week one in that game versus Dallas, at least in the first half, in my opinion. And so with all that, you put all that in there, and we're going to throw Jed Wills out there week one against Micah Parsons. Um, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, and I'm pretty concerned. And so, but why? Here's where it gets even more concerning. And so, if you guys don't know already, you move on to Saturday, and there's so James Hudson, who has been the starting left tackle, although he played right tackle in college, and I watched James Hudson in college, and know somebody that was on the coaching staff at Cincinnati, one that gets them every day. You know, he's been a right tackle his whole career, and all of a sudden now he's playing left tackle, and James Hudson at left tackle has not been great. He has been good in practice. Hasn't been great in the games. I think he's just more of a right tackle. He's a swing. I guess he's their swing tackle, but he's a right tackle. And as somebody who played tackle myself in high school, and you know, I didn't play at that level, but obviously the pros. But there is a difference between a comfort for some guys, rather when they're drop kicking off their with their right foot rather than their left foot. So, for instance, your left foot would be on you're blocking on the left side. Some guys have more comfort on the right side. You know, Jed Wills played right tackle in college. Now he made the jump over as a rookie and had all the reps in the offseason and worked with Bill Callahan, arguably one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest offensive line coach of all time, one of them. You know, but James Hudson's being thrown over there in a new scheme, in a new offense, and hasn't been great. And so, but James Hudson gets hurt now, right? James Hudson gets hurt Saturday. So then they go out with Jermaine Ifedi. Jermaine Ifedi has been a veteran. He's a vet who they added last season. He's been in the league for a little while now, understands position. He went out there left tackle. Ifedi gets hurt. So then we throw out another veteran, a 26-year-old Hakeem Adeniji, I believe how you say his name. His name's Hakeem. We'll just call him Hakeem A. Hakeem A goes out there, and DTR throws an interception, or was it Tyler Huntley? It's one of them threw. I think it was Tyler Huntley threw the interception. Adeniji runs downfield and tries to tackle the guy, which they did stop him before he crossed the goal line, but he gets hurt, and now he's out. And so James Hudson, after the game, I believe, was seen in a boot. And Adeniji, I think, was more hurt as well than Ifedi. And so it sounds like right now Jermaine Ifedi is going to be the left tackle for the game against Seattle this upcoming week. And now, and that's where I have more concern because, you know, we're talking about the Dallas game, right? And the concerns I have there, even if Jed Wills is back and healthy, I'm still concerned. And so now we move on to this week, though. We have the last preseason game against Seattle, right? The last dress rehearsal. And we're expecting Deshaun Watson to play. We're expecting all these guys really should play, all the first teamers. They need to play, in my opinion. I think it'd be a mistake if they don't. They need some reps. I mean, if Kansas City can go out there with their guys, the 3-time Super Bowl champions, and they're doing it, maybe the Browns should take some notes and do the same. That's just my opinion. But I'm concerned even throwing Deshaun Watson out there in this preseason game now because Jermaine Ifedi, who is a veteran, I think I trust more probably than James Hudson at that position. I'm being honest with you, just because I think he's played that position more. I'm a little concerned though, because if Ifedi gets hurt or he's injured and he goes out there and he's not playing 100%, that's how guys get hurt or get other guys hurt. You know, I don't want to be in a situation last year where we saw last year with the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, where they rolled out there in the season with a big concern at left tackle, and it literally cost them the first drive of the season and cost their whole season. Aaron Rodgers got hurt, tore his ACL, and that was it. Their whole season, or tore his Achilles rather, and that was it. The season was over. You know, I don't want to be in that position. But where they are right now, they're kind of like the Jets a little bit last year, a little bit, where this left tackle situation's very concerning to me because what do you guys think? Would you play Deshaun Watson this week against Seattle and put Jermaine Ifedi out there, or does it really even matter? Because in general, I don't know if it really matters in general who they put out there right now, because who they have on their roster right now, and even if Jed Wills is back healthy, Jed Wills is not going to be in game shape. He has had zero action out on the field, and then the new scheme, the new offense. How is he going to be ready by week one? And they keep saying, you know, he's progressing, and they've been very quiet about Jed Wills, very quiet. And I don't think it's contract related or anything. I think it's more of just the injury may be a little worse than we thought. The recovery may be a little, or he maybe had setbacks along the way in his recovery for post surgery or the procedure he had done. And I believe he had something done. He might have had a setback in his progressions, right, in his recovery. And so now they're kind of in a pickle. And what do they do? And so I don't know. I think they're in a. I think they got concerns right now, and I think they got some big question marks. And I feel very uncomfortable throwing Deshaun Watson coming off that injury, your $220-something million man, throwing him out there, and and we look at Deshaun's career in Cleveland. Hasn't really lived up to the expectations yet, right? And I still am high on Deshaun as a quarterback. I think he's got all the talent in the world to get it done if he can just put it together. But I do have concerns, and I think I have my concerns with the offense and the way it's structured right now, not with the new scheme, but just how, I've mentioned this on my live a month ago whenever Kevin Stefanski announced he was calling plays. I don't think it was a big deal. I'm not making a big reaction about Kevin keeping the plays, but you kind of notice in the preseason too. I'm watching the operation. I'm watching how they communicate, and when you watch the offense too, I get it's not the starters and the second stringers. But even when you watch them operationally in the preseason, there just seems to be a lot of funk. There just seems to be a lot of just miscommunication. The execution's just not as flawless. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's flowing to me. There's something seems off. I don't know. And I'm really curious, how much input does Ken Dorsey have into the play call? Not just the offense. We know it's a lot of his offense and why they brought him in, but how much influence does Ken Dorsey have on the play call itself? Because if you have two guys talking about two different plays and at one time, that's a problem. And that was my concern I had when Kevin announced he was keeping the play calling. That was my concern. And I said it that day. I said, I don't want a situation where, you go back to Ohio State when they won the national championship in 2014. The next year, because Tom Herman had left, took the job at somewhere else, they brought in Ed Warner and they had somebody else. It was Urban Meyer. It was basically just Ed Warner and Urban Meyer. And it was a situation where Ed Warner would call either, I think, the run plays or the pass plays, and then Urban Meyer would call either the run or the pass. One of them called pass, the other one called run. And if you go back and watch that Ohio State season, they had so much talent. That team was more talented than the team that won the Natty the year before. But it was such a disservice with to those players and how that was set up to begin with for the entire team. And you saw that offense just stutter the whole year. Just never could get, they just never found a rhythm. And they had all the talent, like Mike Thomas, Zeke Elliott, JT Barrett, you had Braxton Miller, all these guys. I mean, loaded. But they were set to fail from the begin with. That's why they failed that season. They fell short. It's because of their offense, right? And so again, I don't want to be in a situation where not only just the left tackle as a Browns fan, I mean, if I'm the Browns, I wouldn't want to be in a situation where we got this problem now at left tackle, but also operationally just has not looked. I still have question marks and concerns. I'm not saying it's a big deal, that area there, but I'm just curious how much input does Dorsey have on the play call itself? Because in the preseason, it just has not looked clean to me. Has not looked clean to me at all. And I think it's reflected. I mean, 12 points last game and 10 points the game before? I mean, that's unacceptable. That's not good. I don't care if it's preseason or not. You should be aiming to at least get more than that. In the preseason, you should be scoring more than 10 and 12 points if you're supposed to be a really good team and want to compete to win the division and so forth. And so I haven't seen that. But also, going back to Deshaun, he hasn't really been able to find a consistent rhythm, in my opinion, in Cleveland. Right, the first year he comes off, he came off the suspension, and he gets thrown out there the last 6 games. Didn't really do much. He won the game against Buffalo. That was a nice win, but it was late in the season, coming off the street. What do you expect? So that we go in the next season, last year, right? And then he gets injured early the season. Then he's out against the Ravens, and then he gets back and he plays 2 really good games against the Cardinals. Has a big one on the road against the Ravens. It was unbelievable in the fourth quarter. Then he's out for the year. He gets hurt in that game. So he's never really been able to stack games and find consistency, in my opinion. And so, I how does he find that consistency though? If you're putting him out there in the situation right now, left tackle, where you look at the left tackle situation right now, how do you feel comfortable if you're the Browns putting Deshaun out there? How can we expect Deshaun to really find his rhythm in this new offense when he could possibly have a he's concerned about his blind side every play? I mean, I get he could improvise and do stuff, but there's certain things I don't want Deshaun doing. I don't need Deshaun playing hero ball all game, right? Sometimes the boring football, when your quarterback makes boring throws, boring completions, sits in the pocket, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means your offense is flowing and running cleanly. That means things are going very well. But the way the Browns are right now at left tackle, that's not it doesn't look like that, right? It does not look like that at all. It's so what do they do? What do they do from here? What do I think the Browns should do right now? And so let me look at some comments here. Um, Shout out to Paramjot. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Saying who? Jed just doesn't love football in my mind. you know, my thing with Jed Wills is he's very inconsistent. Sometimes to me he's a little lazy. Yeah, and you may be right on that, and that could be part of that laziness. I think sometimes to me, excuse me, I need some water. Sometimes to me, Jed gets very lazy. He gets very lackluster. He's when he comes out of his stance, as soon as the ball's hiked, he gets beat already because to me, Jed a lot is on his back foot a lot, which is not a good thing. Gets blown off the ball. His inside hand can improve a lot, in my opinion. He's just very inconsistent. But I think a lot of that is effort, and you may be right. Sometimes he gets a little lazy. Maybe doesn't like football as much. I don't know, but I am very concerned though how they've handled this. They've been very quiet. All we've heard is just he's getting better. He's getting better. Okay, but even if he's ready by week 1, he's really not ready, in my opinion, because he hasn't taken enough reps. He's not in game shape. Mentally, he's not ready. And I don't know. I just Watson should be fine with the experience. He has played with bad O-line play. He has, and I agree. He can get it done. But It's not ideal. It's not what you want for your starting quarterback. God, you're paying $200-something million to coming off the injury. You want to make it as easy as possible for him because you remember, I think a lot of Deshaun's hurdles going to be mentally. He hasn't been consistent. He hasn't had that consistent stack of games where he can play, where he's played at a really good level, at a high level that is up to his standard. He knows he's capable of playing up to, and so he can mentally improvise and get it done. He has the wide receivers to get it done as well, and the weapons to help him out. But I think you as a head coach of the team, and as the offensive staff, you want to make it as easy as possible for him. Like I was saying, sometimes those boring completions that we think are boring as fans, right? And just guys sitting in the pocket, that's a great thing because that means things are running smoothly. He's being protected. He's not much danger. He doesn't have to go out and put his body out there on the line. Obviously, he needs to learn to slide more probably, but I think it's a good thing though if he's I think it's a not ideal thing if he has to go out there and try to improvise and try to be hero ball coming off the injury. Because I think a lot of his stuff is mental, not even just with the stuff, coming off everything that happened to him in the past 3 years, but also just, coming off an injury as well. That's a mental hurdle itself in the recovery and just getting back out on the field again. I think there's a lot of things they need to really set him up for success. When you look at this left tackle situation right now, though, even with the healthy Jed Wills going into week 1 or available Jed Wills, I would say, that's still not ideal for the beginning of the season. I think putting James Hudson at left tackle should have never really happened. I don't think James Hudson should have even touched left tackle. He's a right tackle. He's played right tackle his whole career in college, even. Like I said earlier, one of my best friends is on the staff there. What actually played against him in practice some days, and James is a right tackle. I watched James in college. He's always been played right, and I think him at left tackle is just not, doesn't work out well. So I think this preseason and has shown that at training camp, he's just not. That's not a spot. Watson does run reckless. I fear for that, man. He does need to learn how to slide. I get the shot. You're 6'3", 225. You're athletic. I get guys quarterbacks. Some guys want to truck guys over, drop their shoulder. But yeah, he needs to learn how to slide and just. But again, it starts with your coach. It starts with your coach coaching that. And it also starts with your offensive staff, and really the front office has a part in this as well. Andrew Berry, setting you up for success, making sure you're in a stable situation. And right now, it's not a very stable situation, in my opinion. Not with this left tackle situation at all. And so, if I'm the Browns, I'm a little concerned right now. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'd be a little concerned. And just he already has enough hurdles he got to go through anyways mentally, to try to get back to that level that the Browns need him to play at. But I think right now they got a situation they really need to figure out. And so, how do they figure it out? In my opinion. And so, a lot of people talk about trade and stuff like that. But I don't think a trade's really viable right now. I don't think a trade's realistic at this point in the process. And teams we're so close to the beginning of the season. Um, I think their best bet is probably to find a free agent, obviously. But who do they find? And so I got a name, only one name I got, and there's a couple other names they can possibly sign. But I think this guy, to me, they should have signed him last year. Tried to get him last year when they could have got him. I was saying his name last year. I get he's got injury concerns, but what you need right now for one more year, I think this guy can get it done. I've listened to some guys that actually know this gentleman and have actually taught him in the past in one-on-one training sessions and still talk to him now. And they believe he could definitely give you 1 or 2 more years left. He's capable of doing it. He's a veteran. He protected Aaron Rodgers for years, and that's David Bakhtiari. And so, in my opinion, I would call David Bakhtiari right now if I were the Cleveland Browns. Get him in here immediately, get him acclimated in the offense, get him acclimated in the system with the O-line, the chemistry. They need another tackle in there right now, an assurance policy. David Bakhtiari has been around a long time, was a great left tackle when healthy, protected Aaron Rodgers all those years. And obviously he's had the injury concerns. He's 32. Excuse me, he's a little older. But I think David Bakhtiari is the ideal name right now. They need somebody that can come in here who's proven, a veteran, wants to play. David Bakhtiari wants to go play for a contender. It's just nobody's really giving him a shot. I get with the concern with the knee, but I think if you give him a shot, let him come in here. And what do you have to lose? I mean, how much different how much different is he than what you have on your roster right now? He's a better talent than all of them. He's a better talent than Jed Wills, Hakeem Adeniji, whatever his name is, Jermaine Ifedi. He's better than James Hudson. He's better than all of them. Not better than DeJuan Jones, but in terms of left tackle, what you have available, he's better than anybody you got. And in terms of health-wise, he's probably healthier than anybody you got right now, too, because all the guys you got are banged up. So what I don't get that whole argument, well, he's injured and blah, blah, blah. Listen, you're in a situation right now where you got to protect your $225 million quarterback and keep this offense flowing. You got Micah Parsons coming into town in a couple weeks. What do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. He's available right there on the street for you. Go get him. Yeah. Yes, I would love that. I would too. And I don't know why they're waiting to do it. Go get him right now. He's available. He should have been in Berea today. His ass should be in Berea right now, out there on the field, in pads or in shorts and a t-shirt at least getting through walkthroughs, meeting everybody. Hey, what's up, Coach Deshaun? How you doing? He needs to be in there right now. I don't know what they're waiting on. There's no trade out there to make. You're not going to get a left. No team's going to give up a left tackle this late in the right before the season like that. It's hard to come across. So, I don't think that the guy in Denver, I think they extended him. I don't think he's available anymore. So, David Bakhtiari is available. David Bakhtiari he's healthy enough to play right now. He's gone through the offseason recovery. And David Bakhtiari has great experience. And also, going back to what you were saying, Param John, is talking about Deshaun being able to improvise and stuff like that. Aaron Rodgers for a lot of his career did a lot of wild stuff. Aaron Rodgers made some crazy throws off bounds. He likes to spread. He can sit in the pocket. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time in my era. But he likes to move around a little bit, try some things. David Bakhtiari has a very good understanding of the game. He's blocked for one of the greatest of all time in this last, especially this decade, my lifetime. Why not bring him in? And not only that, he's a vet. He could probably bring something to that room. He can bring something to Jed Wills. Maybe Jed Wills has never had. He could be a great vet for Jed Wills. Maybe Jed Wills needs a player to get in his ass and challenge him and maybe give him some experience. Veteran leadership in that locker room is very, very underrated. Very underrated. And it's something that really doesn't get valued enough, especially from fans and maybe common fans that don't realize that or because you don't really hear about it from the media, it doesn't really get brought up. It's very important. I think he's somebody that would definitely bring that. So why not bring David Bakhtiari? Um, I would sign him right now. I would have had him in here already today. I'd have had him on my private jet. If I were the Haslam's, I'd be here. I'll send him my private jet, fly him on in. Tell me he wants a heated driveway. We'll get him a heated driveway. We'll give him a nice little house, an apartment, a car. Just block number 4, please. Just make sure nobody touches number 4. Okay. All right, we're good. Like I'd have done that yesterday. It's so that'd be the guy I would bring. I think he's the best available for them. I think he's available. He needs somewhere to play. Um, he's wanting to play somewhere. He's available. So why not bring him in my opinion. And not only that, he's playing alongside another. He's got a future Hall of Famer playing next to a Joel Bitonio. I think those two on the left side, I think could really be for 1 year. That'd be a really damn good left side, in my opinion. That's just to me. But um, football can't come sooner, man. It's so boring without it. It is boring without football. My gosh, is it boring? Um, yeah, yeah, it is boring. I'm trying to pay more attention to baseball this year. Like the Guardians are, been pretty good, but I just can't watch every single night, man. I just can't do it. The Olympics, I watched some of the basketball, but it just wasn't the same for me. Not saying it was good or bad. I just couldn't really get into I couldn't go all in on it, to be honest with you. Like just wasn't. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. It has been very boring, and yeah, it's been a very boring offseason. I'm glad football is back. The Browns, Ohio State, high school football. The Hoban Knights. Um, I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm glad it's back. It gives me something to talk about. Obviously, it's gonna be a big season, a big year for us on this show and our live stream. I've met some new guys recently too. Are going to be contributors on the show as well. So looking forward to that. Find us on the post game live reaction. Make sure you subscribe for that because we'll be having some incredible lives. We got a hotline now you can call into after the game too. Or you can call in the show if you don't want to join either. If you don't want to join and hit the link, you can actually call by your phone into a phone number. And actually, I'll put that number up here right now to remind you guys. The new number for the show to call into. Save it in your phone. Don't call in now, but 216-532-5550. Again, it's 216-532-5550. That'll be the call-in number for the show this offseason or this season on the post-game lives. We'll even have some lives during the week. I want to do a show on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night. You guys let me know what's good for you. Where Mike and I and a bunch of guys will come up here and just sit, and it'll just be an open panel for you guys. And you guys can call in and share whatever you want. It'll be your show basically. And you guys can call in and share an event about what you want to talk about, and we'll react to it and give some insight on it. And you want to do more of a fan interaction show. And so that's the number for you guys to call in. Save that in your phone. It'll be a great season coming up. Nice. I'm definitely going to call in. Absolutely. I would love to have you on. I'm 24. The greatest I've seen is Tom Brady, but Pat is coming for him. I'm 24 as well, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Tom is definitely the best. In my lifetime, I'd probably say Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. Pat Mahomes is coming, though. Man, he is definitely on his way up the ladder as well. I'm trying to think. Drew Brees is another great one in my lifetime in terms of, stats and stuff like that. But Tom and Aaron and Peyton to me are on their separate level. I was actually a Brett Favre fan. That was the first quarterback my dad introduced me to when I was a kid. I had a Brett Favre jersey. Love Favre, just the way he played, just his style. Who doesn't like Brett Favre, honestly? But he's just a man's man. But him, I'm trying to think who else in my lifetime. But Pat Mahomes is definitely somebody I've never really. I don't think anybody's ever really seen with that kind of arm, and he's a little more archaic, I guess you could say. Yeah, Phillip Rivers was good. Eli Manning, another one. A lot of people aren't as high on Eli, but he did beat the Patriots twice. Got to give him credit for that. And he was pretty good, I thought, overall. So. Eli Manning to me, Phillip Rivers. Trying to think who else. I mean, that's the main ones I could think of in my lifetime. But yeah, Tom for one. Tom is definitely number one to me. Not even a debate in my opinion, but in my lifetime. But yeah, Pat is definitely moving up the ladder, and looking forward to seeing what he could do the rest of his career. Excuse me. At least the Buckeyes play 31st. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that against Akron. Nice little tune-up game. I actually went by Akron yesterday. Akron U. Drove right by I was basically on campus yesterday. And as I drove by, I was just like, man, imagine your first games against the Ohio State Buckeyes and you're Akron. Uh, so, but yeah, I'm looking forward. At least it's football, something to watch. Jeremiah Smith is the guy I cannot wait to watch this year at Ohio State. Um, cannot wait to watch Jeremiah Smith this year. He's going to be unbelievable as a true freshman. Will Howard named the starting quarterback. I think he'll be really good. And so, yeah, looking forward to it. Let's see here. Yes, I cannot wait to watch JJ. Man, I know. I'm getting me a jersey. I'm already gonna order my number 4 jersey. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm getting my Jeremiah Smith jersey right now. I'm gonna buy one today. I'm wanting to get one. You just made me. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just buy it already because that dude's gonna be unbelievable. We all know he might. How can he win a Heisman Trophy? I think he can. How can he win 1 or 2? He's capable of doing it. So I'm looking forward to watch him a lot. And so, yeah, looking forward to that. But that's my solution. I think they should bring in David Bakhtiari. You know, I think that's who I would bring in personally. Another guy I want to mention real quick. I think Jamari Thrash has played really well this preseason. I think he'll make the roster, obviously. Um, and I think he's played pretty well. I've been impressed with him as a rookie. How much playing time he'll get this year, I don't know. He's wide receiver 5. Obviously, you got Judy, you got Cooper, you got Tillman, and you got Amore. But I think Jamari Thrash has played pretty well. I've liked watching him. I think he'll be pretty good, and so looking forward to seeing him play with Deshaun on Seattle on Sunday night. But yeah, I've been impressed with Jamari as well. He said, yes, the rookie receiver has been playing great. Yeah, he has been playing pretty well. He's a very underrated blocker as well. That's another element of a receiver that I pay attention to. I think he's blocked well. Really runs routes really smooth and has really good hands. I think people question his hands in the camp, but I thought the catch he made the other night was really good. Showed strong hands. He has elite speed, so I think he'll be somebody I think they could use in certain packages, certain plays. Um, that I think could be really beneficial to the Browns. Something they really didn't have last year, to be honest with you. So, uh, JJ Smith talking about top 5 pick for sure. Yeah, he definitely can be. I think Jeremiah Smith can be the best player in the world one day. I really believe that. He's that talented. I've never seen a freshman this talented at the college level in my lifetime. I'm not just saying that because he's on Ohio State. You go go down and ask people in South Florida, where that talent-rich community. Go ask people in South Florida about J.J. Smith. They'll tell you he's the best player they've had come out of there in the last 20 years, and they've had a lot of good ones. A lot of them some first ballot Hall of Famers. So, yeah, he's that dude, and I cannot wait to watch him. He's gonna be unbelievable. But that's all I got for you guys today. That's my solution to the left tackle. What do you guys think? You guys leave a comment below real quick before we get out of here. David Bakhtiari, the answer. Would you rather have David Bakhtiari week 1 or would you rather have Jed Wills? I'll ask you, Param John. Would you rather have Wills or Bakhtiari? I'd rather have Bakhtiari. I don't think Wills will actually be ready week 1 if he is technically available. Like I said, I think he's not going to be really in game shape, and he hasn't really taken any reps in this new offense. He hasn't been on the field at all. So I don't know how you can just throw him out there against Micah Parsons. At least with Bakhtiari's got more experience. I'm sure he's been working out on the side, getting into game shape. And I think if you added him right now, you got time to acclimate him. I want I want David for sure. Screw Jed. Damn. So you're all the way out on Jed. Well, yeah, I mean I get it. I'm not like anti Jed. I think he's had some good games, but he's just too inconsistent for me. I don't know. Something happened with Jed after his rookie year. It was after that injury he had against, his rookie year, he was great. I thought for his rookie year, he was phenomenal. I thought he played really well. He was great in the run blocking. He was good in the pass pro. Baker had a lot of time. But ever since he got hurt that first game, remember that week 1 the next year against the Chiefs when he hurt his ankle and it was on his plant foot, ever since that injury, he just never was the same guy to me. He's just been very inconsistent. He just mentally hasn't seemed the same for me, which that is a concern. When you have a rookie coming off a great year and he has a setback like that, year 2, especially week 1, it can mess with their confidence and kind of get in their head a little bit, in my opinion. It's just any player, being former athlete myself, just injuries are not fun. They really mess with your, they really set you back. They really just, it can really mess with your confidence, your flow. You can have a lot of momentum going. It just sets you. It's a setback. It's what it is. I think ever since Jed had that, it just hasn't been the same. Ever since that injury, he's just been very inconsistent. To me, like I said, he gets a little lazy a lot. And pass pro especially, he gets very lazy and just he's always on his back foot, which is not good. Once you're on your back feet and you're leaning back like that, let me show me myself on the screen. When you're leaning back like that, you're done. And you watch his tape, there's a lot of that. A lot of Jed just getting beat, a lot of him on his back foot, and he's just too inconsistent for me. I think, in the future, thankfully that their first round pick back this year. I think if I were them, I would be looking at either receiver or left tackle at that first round pick. I would keep it and I would take a receiver or left tackle. But would I pay him long term money unless he comes out this year and proves me wrong? And I'm not saying he won't, but unless he comes out this year and plays better than he has the last 3 years and plays like an elite, like not say elite, but just like okay, this is a bookend left tackle. We can trust him and he's healthy. Then I would do it. But he's had 2 injuries already in his career. And for me, if I'm them, I would roll Bakhtiari. Let's get him up in here. Let's see what he can do. I would actually say Bakhtiari would probably be better at left tackle this year than Jed because both of them injury wise are about the same, really. And I trust Bakhtiari more. I think he's better by far. And so why not just roll with Bakhtiari for one more year and just let's maybe draft somebody, try to get somebody in the offseason. Maybe there's somebody will be available via trade. You never know. And who knows what can happen in the offseason, what shakes out this season and how that affects the offseason. So I don't know. Even when we drafted him, he didn't seem excited. I've been done with him. I've been done with him. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, he was with the COVID draft. That's when they drafted him. Yeah. I thought he played well his rookie year, but like I said, ever since that injury, it just wasn't the same. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I think this offensive line has had a lot going on since then too. I mean, they've had how many different quarterbacks they had to block for, different types of offenses, cater around the quarterbacks. I mean, the offensive line has been through a lot, but I think they've overall played very well. Also, Bill Callahan was a big part of that as well as their coach. And I think Andy Dickerson will do a nice job. I like Andy Dickerson. But I think right now, I mean, Jed at left tackle to me is just not the answer long term. Losing Bill will affect us a lot. I think when it happened, I wasn't as concerned about it, and I'm still not like as concerned as a lot of people were, just because I think this is a more veteran group. Your main three guys, Pochich, Teller, and Batonio, they played together. They've had chemistry together. They played, as a unit for a while. I think DeJuan Jones will be just fine. You can put DeJuan Jones anywhere; he's going to ball out. He's just that talented. DeJuan Jones has Hall of Fame type talent. But I think Andy Dickerson, I think, could be fine. And it's actually, you just kind of took it out of my mouth, the words out of my mouth a little bit. I heard Jed hated Bill. That's why he doesn't want to try in games. Bill Callahan, a lot of guys like playing for Bill Callahan, but there's a lot of guys that don't like playing for Bill Callahan because how hard he is. He can be kind of an ass on guys, which is fine. I have no problem with that. And I think you're right. I think Jed, when I watch Jed's body language, that's the one thing I always stand out to me about Jed is his body language. Like I said, he's lazy at times or seems like that. His confidence, and I agree with you. I think maybe Andy Dickerson, a newer voice, and I said this on the show a month ago, maybe Andy Dickerson, just having a new voice in the room, a new face, younger guy, maybe that can help Jed, right? That's why I actually would bring in Bakhtiari, even if you want to play Jed at left tackle, once he gets back full go, I would still bring in Bakhtiari just to help Jed. Why not? And he's an insurance policy at left. He's a tackle. You can have an insurance policy. He's available again. Like I said, I think Jed needs a real vet behind him to get on his ass, push him, challenge him, maybe take his job this year, which will make him really have to play more as well because he's under contract year. But I think you're right though. I think Jed with a new voice and Andy Dickerson, but also I think with I would bring Bakhtiari just for that. I mean, why not? And so I don't think, because Jed isn't a bad player, man. He's just way too inconsistent. Right? He's way too inconsistent. He has all the talent in the world. His rookie year, he showed the talent. He showed why he was taken like 10th overall in that draft. And you go back and watch him in college. I just think he shows it in flashes. But the inconsistency to me is a lack of focus, lack of preparation. Like to me, that's just a lot of off the field preparation during the week. That inconsistency. I don't think it's more of just his in games play. I just think he needs maybe a new voice at coach, but I think he needs a veteran behind him that could really help him. Um, I think that could be beneficial. I think Bakhtiari would help Jet in a lot of ways. To be honest with you, that's just my opinion. But yeah, the body language though at times that was the one thing that always stands out to me when I watch Jet. And I think a lot of that body language could be just lack of focus, confidence, something mentally, in my opinion. Um, because a lot of times when he's out there watching, when he gets blown up off the news, or blown off the ball and he's on his back legs, it's because it's just kind of like half-assing it. And when you get when you're not good in the run game at times, run game really isn't. There's not a lot of skill in the run game. I mean, there is in terms of positioning your body. I mean, I had to do it for 10 years almost, so I know what it's like to play in the run game. But not I didn't play in the NFL, obviously, or college. Or I'm not saying that, but I understand the basics and concepts of it. I played it for a long time and learned from some great coaches I had and guys who were in college and coached some great guys. But anyways, a lot of the run game is just effort. Run game's a lot is just effort, just bulldozing the man in front of you. What's your assignment? Who do you got? This guy? Are you pulling at the second level? Or are you pulling? You swinging around the corner and sealing the edge or whatever, or creating the hole? That's just knowing your assignment and effort in the run game. And I think sometimes when you watch Jed and a lot of guys in the NFL in the run game when they look like shit, it's because it's just not a lot of effort. You know what I mean? That to me, that's body language, that's consistency, and that's mental. But yeah, I don't know. Excuse me. What's the news on Mike Hall, man? I heard it was really bad. How did he even play? Yeah, I'm not going to really get too much into this because it's a ongoing situation. The accusations against him are very serious and very, very bad. I was a little surprised that he was out there at practice last week. To be honest with you, I mean, I get the Browns want to go through the legal system and let that play out, and I get that this is Mike Hall's job. And what else is he going to do? He's going to sit at home and do nothing. He's going to work, I guess. But I don't know. I think as serious as the accusations are, I don't know how much the evidence the police department have or anything. He was charged with domestic violence. It was a misdemeanor. He got out on a $10,000 bail out of Avon. He has court September 10th, I believe. So I don't know. He's played well on the field, but forget the playoffs. This is when nobody cares about that. Obviously, if the accusations are serious, he needs to be cut. Not only cut, forget football. He ain't playing football ever again. He'd be probably facing some jail time, I would think. But it's a very tricky situation because you don't know. There's two sides of the story. There is a witness in the victim's mother is a witness in this, so she could probably have a big part to play in this and what the police gathered that night at the scene and whatever evidence they have and stuff like that. Whatever his side of the story is, we don't know. We've heard her testimony. We haven't heard his testimony yet, or what he told the police happened. But either way, there are some things though there is some things from the other side that seem to be a little that goes hand in hand with what the police found and what they said happened, and so that to me is starting to add up a little bit. So I haven't really said that's why I haven't said anything about it because I don't know. I've been keeping an eye on it and kind of collecting evidence like everybody else. And just we don't really know. It's a very fluid situation. What a waste to pick and shame if it's true, man. A former Buckeye too. Yeah, it would be a shame. It would be a shame, and it would be another. I don't want to say it. It'd be another. These young guys, you young athletes out there, because I watched Mike Hall in high school. At Streetsboro, I'd watch him at Ohio State. I've watched Mike Hall play football for a long time, and I guess he had some maturity issues coming out of college. Some teams had him as immature. Although when he was at Ohio State, I don't really remember ever hearing anything with Mike Hall when he was there. And I cover Ohio State, watched them pretty closely, and listened to people that cover them very intently every day in the building. I never heard anything about Mike Hall, but I am a little. I don't know how do I say it? I am. How do I? What am I trying to say here? I forgot my point. Some of these younger athletes, if this is true about Mike Hall, these new athletes, all athletes really coming in these sports now, you really need to be careful who you surround yourself with, but also what you put in your head. This is for everybody out there. What you put in your ears, put in your mind, if you got a problem, you need to address it. I think a lot of people they get so caught up in what they're doing with the money and the fame and all this stuff that they kind of lose sight of who they are, or they allow some of those bad maybe things in them to grow. And I hope Mike Hall is not another, another number. I guess you could say another example of an athlete who blew his whole career because of just lack of maturity and just not being smart and acting like a, um, you know, not a good person. And so I hope maybe if it isn't true, hopefully Mike Hall really still does, though. Even if it's not true, Mike Hall stays around and plays. Hopefully, Mike Hall learns to surround himself with more people that will get on his ass, keep him in check. I think a lot of times these athletes get a lot of yes men around them, and yes people, a bunch of leeches. You got cousins that come out of nowhere you never met before, um, and even people that you're in relationships with that really don't love you. Your significant other or alleged whoever really doesn't love you a lot of times. They just really like that paycheck, and he's good enough. And I'm not saying that's the case in Mike's case. Obviously, that's if that happened to that to the victim involved, that's horrendous. That's horrific, and I hope she finds healing and support. It's nobody, no man should ever put their hands on a woman ever in any situation. Um, and I don't promote violence or anything. That's just not, especially when you got a child involved. It's a horrible thing. I don't want to get too much into it because it's not my place to do that, but very serious accusations, and I hope that the truth gets prevailed and that the Browns do the right thing here and just go ahead and cut them. If it is true, if it's not, then I don't know. We'll see what happens, what they do, punishment wise, and stuff like that. I was a little surprised though they had him out there practice the next day. Me personally, I probably would have sent him home for the day, at least one day, and just kind of found out more. But I I don't know what the Browns know or what they've concluded in their I don't know, but we'll see. But it'll all play out. Yes, man. Why do they surround themselves with the same people? You got to make your circle. You got to make your circle two people you trust. Exactly. And these guys, they don't do that nowadays. They don't. It's not really shown though. To be honest with you, and not just athletes, just in general in society. You look around nowadays, just all the stuff people are just influenced by the poison people are putting in their minds and their bodies. You know what I mean? If that stuff is true, what would make somebody want to do that? You know what I mean? Just why would somebody feel the need to have that much rage and anger in them? Um, that to me is the more concerning part in and anything. A lot of people talk about things with weapons and stuff like that, and then we look at the objects and things, but I like to look at the root cause of things. And I think that's what we need to focus more on in society, because I think a lot of it is not only just a mental and emotional problem and a physical thing, maybe, but a spiritual problem as well. Going a little deep here, but I think there's a lot of root causes to a lot of things that we have allowed in our society. That these are why incidents like these things happen, possibly, if it is true. I mean, we people act shocked and want to bitch out people and blame people and this and that. But sometimes maybe we need to look in the mirror ourselves and what we've allowed, what we allow our kids to listen to, what we allow to watch, what we've allowed as acceptable. And just because you're not doing these things doesn't mean it doesn't. You're not putting a hand in contributing to these things that we allow in our society. People have allowed. I think we as a society we've allowed too much negative things that have only not only influenced us as adults, but it's affecting our kids. And a lot of it is just, to me, I think a lot of it's a spiritual thing. But even if you're somebody who doesn't believe in God or whatever, that's your, I'm not judging anybody, but there are some decent moral things that I think we've just and just things that just really used to be right is now wrong, and what used to be wrong is now right. We live in an upside down society now. So I don't know, but all right, man. Have a great night. Go Browns. Go Bucks. Go Guards. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll actually wrap this up right now. So, um, again, that's my take on the left tackle situation with the Browns. I would go sign David Bakhtiari. I think he's the best insurance. I think he's the best guy they can throw out there, period, right now, even with the healthy Jet Wills. And so, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And let me find it. Okay, yeah, and I'm out of here. Gone.